Good morning to all the students of class 8th. My name is Prerna and I'm your English teacher. And today from your English book Skyline, we are going to be reading chapter number 15. Now this is a play with the title The Last Leaf. Here we go. Chapter number 15, play with the name The Last Leaf. Let us understand who all are the characters in this play. So you have a doctor named Dr. Bond. Then you have Sue, who's a young artist. Mr. Berman, who's an old artist. Then you have Chauncey, who's Sue's friend. And there are two narrators. Narrator 1. So scene 1 and the narrator says, it is a cold November day in the early 1990s. Many people in New York are suffering from pneumonia. Chauncey, a young artist, is one of them. She lies in bed in a small second-story bedroom. The doctor takes her roommate Sue into the hallway. Dr. Bond, he tells Sue, Chauncey has had a bad case of pneumonia. She had only 1% chance of surviving. She wouldn't really want to live. Sue, why wouldn't she want to live? Dr. Bond, some people just don't have the will. Is there anything she really wants to do? Sue says she'd like to paint the Bay of Naples. Bond. Dr. Bond says, paint? That's nonsense. Well, I'll do all I can do for her. But without Chauncey's help, that's not much. Try her to get to think about the new winter fashions. Maybe that will cheer her up. I will stop by tomorrow. So Dr. Bond says, Dr. Bond, he tells Sue, Chauncey's friend, that you will really have to cheer her up and you can remind her maybe of the winter fashions, and I'll come again tomorrow. Narrator 2. When Dr. Bond leaves, Sue can't help crying. Then she pulls herself together to see Chauncey. As she enters her room, she hears Chauncey talking to herself. Chauncey, she's staring out of the window and she's saying, 8, 7. Sue, she's confused. What are you counting? Chauncey says, 6. The leaves are falling faster now. 3 days to go. There were 100 on the ivy vine. There goes another one. There are only 5 now. Sue, how does it matter? It just means winter is coming. Chauncey, when the last leaf falls, I too must fall down. I have known that for days. Sue, Johns, that's nonsense. What do ivy leaves have to do with anything? Dr. Bond says that there are chances for getting well are 10 to 1. Would you like to have some soup now? Chauncey says no. Sue says, well, I'll finish my drawing then. I'll give it to the magazine editor tomorrow. Then I'll get some money. I can buy something to warm your blood. Chauncey says, you don't have to buy anything. There are only 4 leaves now. I want to see the last one fall before the dark. Then I will go too. Sue, she ignores what Chauncey said. I'm pulling the shade now. Maybe you can get a little sleep. Chauncey, when I wake up, I'll pull up the shade. I want to go sailing down just like one of those leaves. Sue, try to sleep. I'm going to ask the old man downstairs to be the model for my picture. I'll be right back. So now Chauncey, she's lost all hopes to overcome her illness while Sue is making every effort to ensure that Chauncey, she gathers that willpower to live. Scene 3. Narrator. Sue goes to see old Mr. Berman, who lives on the ground floor. He is an unsuccessful artist who has grown too discouraged to paint. Sue, in a very upset manner, she says, oh, Mr. Berman, I don't know what to do. Chauncey believes that she'll breathe her last as soon as the last leaf falls from the ivy vine outside our window. Berman. What? Who'd be foolish enough to die just because a leaf drops from a vine? Sue. Maybe you are right. I didn't mean to upset you. I came to ask you to pose for me. Berman. I'll pose. But what about Chauncey? How can you let her believe such a thing? Sue. The fever has left her mind full of strange ideas. Berman. What kind of a world is this where a nice girl can fall so seriously sick? Someday I'll paint a masterpiece. Then I'll be able to help my friends. Narrator 2. Berman goes upstairs with Sue. As Chauncey sleeps, Sue briefly raises the shade to show Berman the ivy vine. There's only one leaf left. The wind is blowing and it has started snowing. Sue pulls down the shade. Scene 4. Narrator 1. The next morning, Chauncey asks Sue to raise the shade. She does so very sadly. Chauncey, there's still one left. I was sure it would fall during the night. I heard the wind. Well, it will fall today. I will fall dead instantly. Sue, stop it. At least think of me. I don't want you to die. Narrator 2. That night it rains and the wind blows hard. The next morning, Sue's friend Chauncey is staring at the shade again. Chauncey, pull it up. Narrator, Sue raises the shade and the ivy leaf is still there. See, you can see the ivy leaf. It is still there. The last leaf is still there. Chauncey, I've been wrong, Sue. Something has made that last leaf stay there to show me, to inspire me. It's wrong to want to die. Sue, I'm glad you've seen the light. Now, will you have some soup? Chauncey, yes, please, but first put some pillows behind my back. I'll sit up and watch you cook. Narrator 2. Later that day, Dr. Bond comes. After examining Chauncey, he speaks to Sue. Dr. Bond, there is an even chance now. With good nursing, she'll pull through. She'll pull through means she'll be able to recover. But now I must go and see old Mr. Berman. He has pneumonia too. He's old and weak and there's little hope for him. I'll move him to the hospital today. Narrator. Sue is shocked. Scene 5. Narrator. The next day, Dr. Bond comes again. Dr. Bond. She's out of danger now. She'll get well, but I'm afraid there's some sad news too. Mr. Berman breathed his last at midnight. Narrator. Sue nods, then she goes in to explain to Chauncey. Sue. Mr. Berman died. The janitor found him. Janitor is the caretaker. Now Sue's telling Chauncey, Mr. Berman died. The janitor found him really sick 2 days ago. He was soaked and shivering badly, in his bed, wearing wet clothes. Chauncey, where had he been on such a stormy night? Sue, well, they found a ladder next to the brick wall and a lantern. Chauncey, yes. Sue, and paintbrushes lying on the ground. The palette was green and yellow. Chauncey, she's puzzled, she's confused. What was he painting? Sue, look out of the window at the last leaf on the wall. Didn't you wonder why it never shook with a stroke of wind? No wind ever shook it. It is Berman's masterpiece. He painted it there the night that the last leaf fell. So, isn't that a beautiful story? But most importantly, what we need to understand is that if we lose hope, then we will never be able to do something in our lives. But the moment we revive ourselves, we start becoming hopeful, we start becoming positive, that is when our lives will start moving into the direction that we desire. So losing hope is a very easy thing to do, but in true sense, human beings who are able to overcome their weakness by being positive are the ones who are always successful. You know, as they say, God help only those who help themselves. So sometimes you have to encourage yourself to overcome a particular difficulty. Thank you so much.